Welcome to the School of Wordcraft and Worldmancy. This is Feedback Frenzy.
Hello, and welcome to the Feedback Frenzy here at WriterGreg School of Worldcraft and Worldmancy. It is such a great opportunity to be here, and thank you so much to all of those who have submitted content to be critiqued, either 1,500 words of fiction or a world-building article at wgc.bz/submit. Please visit that, and you can have your content critiqued in a future episode of the Feedback Frenzy. Be sure to like, subscribe, and ring that bell for when these article critiques and videos come live. Thank you so much. All right, the article that we are going to be critiquing right now is the Nightshine article by Dazzlinkat, and this is a person. Now, if let me just hide the logo. I need to check one thing. I forgot this. Okay, so this is the critique that Dazzlinkat is asking for is a final polish. Okay, so this is going to be a final polish style critique. So I'm going to be really nitpicky, the grammar, the line edits. But if there's some issues with the content as well, we will discuss that in turn. All right, so let's just take a overall look at this. Okay, pretty straightforward. All right. Really liking the columns you have here. This is a beautiful image. The mask here, I believe those are Mardi Gras style masks, Carnival, depending on the location. Those are some beautiful masks. I love this artwork of this female. Really pretty. I guess I'm a sucker for redheads. What can I say? The three columns, 2 columns, 1 column. I don't know why, but that just feels right. You went from complicated, and as you go down the article, it got simpler. It went to fewer columns. Do I have any other reason to comment that other than say that's cool? You know, the images are appropriately sized, so you don't have any bleed over of text underneath the third column. The image is approximately the same height as the content, a little bit here, but you know what? I think that it looks really good. Again, cool image, and the column equal sized. I'm already liking the layout. All right. So now let's jump into Shiri by Dark Souls 1. I don't want to say any that is really nice artwork. All right. Shiri. Okay. Shiri. He was so handsome, and even without a heart, she wanted to step into his welcoming arms. That was what he wanted too. "Come, Shiri," he said, with his voice that tingled its way up and down her spine. He smiled that gentle half-smile that had once deceived her into believing he loved her too. She did not move towards him. She did not move away from him either. His smile faded, and he looked at her, raising a brow in surprise. "Something wrong, Shiri?" he asked. "I am not yours anymore, Nightshine," she said. Her voice still sounded as dead as it always did without her heart to give it tone and emotion. His other brow rose to join the first. Disbelief stained his face. "You must be confused," he mused, speaking more to himself than to her. "Perhaps you need a reminder." He took a deeper breath. "Come here, Shiri." was a command, and power tingled his words. Shirey felt that power try to convince her legs that she wanted to walk to him. She tensed against the feelings, and her legs did not move. I have learned to live half alive, Nightshine. She picked up the haverpack. Is it a haverpack or a haversack? That had been out of sight on the far side of her cot. I am leaving. Don't bother to come looking for me. With that, she walked past him and out of the tent. Without her heart, she could not feel relief that he did not try to stop her. Interesting. So it is a haverpack? Okay, haverpack, because this one says haversack, haversack. Maybe the haversack. Eh. Not a big deal. I call them backpacks, but in my world's term, it's haversack. Okay, you call them haverpacks. Got it. Okay. Got it. And that does bring a little bit of confusion where you're renaming something in your world that does insert a little bit of as you notice as I was reading along, I noticed the difference of the word. It kicked me out of the story, and then I had to think to focus back into the narrative because that word choice, which is yours to make, kicked me out of the story because I go, wait, is haverpack a word? I thought it was haversack. See, that's what we talk about when how your word choice can cause you to be kicked out of the story. And so that's a real demonstration there. Ugh. One of these days I'll learn to remember to. Okay. All right, there we go. So, good. Okay, now let's talk about Nightshine. This is interesting. Even though this says Shirey by Dark Souls 1, I thought this was Nightshine. When I first started reading, I thought this was Nightshine. I did not think that Nightshine is this male character that you have here. So that was a little bit on the confusing side. But it was a good introduction. It was a good, from her point of view, we get to see a little bit about Nightshine's powers. So I'm liking this, how you have it. But I thought she was Nightshine. This is kind of like what happens when you have a prologue at the beginning of a book. I won't say I'm anti-prologue, but I will say use it judiciously. Because here, I come to the article, I read the fiction, and I assume this is Nightshine because she's the first character I see. She's the first person's point of view I see. And so just like a prologue, it can introduce you into the world, but it also makes me want to, thinking it's about her as opposed to the unphotographed or unillustrated man named Nightshine. Again, this is your choice on how to do it. I think this is a really good introduction of fiction to get us into the world, but you need to, there are pros and cons, and the debate about prologues will go forever, and so, and if you make that choice intentionally, we're all good. Okay, another kind of demon. Okay, now we're getting here. I'm guessing this is Nightshine because this is the second one. So yeah, this is your prologue. Okay, now we're getting to this. Nightshine is a succubus, a cubus. Okay, a cubus, not a succubus. Okay, cubus can change from male to female at will, though each cubus has preferred from one over the other. One who prefers the male form is incubus, who prefers female is a succubus. This is really good information. Okay, thank you so much for that tooltip, because automatically I went to succubus. But, okay, a cubus, a cubus. Okay, really good use of the tooltip. He is also 12th generation, meaning he is 11 generations removed from the demon that birthed his bloodline into the world. That demon was destroyed generations before his own birth, so he has never known the crushing rule of an abyssal demon, and he intends to keep it that way. Being an incubus, Nightshine does not bother with the rending and feasting of mortals. He prefers to lead them into debaucherous pleasures until they are so in love with him that they promise him their hearts. Once they do, he removes their hearts and places them in a magic jar, making them his obedient servants for the rest of their lives. Interesting. Okay, so this actually adds content to Shiri's story, because she didn't have a heart. Now we find out how we now have an impact and know in more detail. This reading of this paragraph gives so much more context to the information up here. I'm leaving. Don't bother. Okay, no. She tensed against her legs. Okay, he took a deeper breath. Okay, no. Okay, her voice still sounded as dead as it always did without her heart to give it tone and emotion. Okay, so that's where this sentence really has a lot more impact. And I was thinking it was metaphorical. This is actual literal. So I kind of like this revelation, as it provides more context to this on the second reading. So yeah, that's pretty cool. The handsome and sometimes beautiful corrupter. Nightshine begins his corrupting by using his ability to go ethereal, then moves to stand beside a sleeping mortal. He whispers to them of forbidding pleasures and other tantalizing things. He then enters their dreams, filling them with the pleasure of giving in to their darkest desires, of indulging in taboos, and of feeding their forbidden appetites. Maybe I should have done a content warning. This article's not for kids today. Thank you so much. If you have kids in the room, I really apologize. Maybe you should have, skip this one. Thanks for the laugh, Dazzlinkat. Yeah. Okay. Good thing we had the AC fixed. Woo-hoo! Hot stuff. All right. As he continues to visit them in their sleep, his victims become more susceptible to other temptations in their everyday lives. When they start falling asleep in anticipation of their pleasureful dreams, he instead appears to them in his solid physical form. Used to seeing him in their dreams, his victims are eager to experience their dreams in the flesh. He takes great care to give them all their desires until they express their deep love for him and promise him their hearts. In that moment, he takes their heart and puts it into a magic jar that keeps them alive and drains away all their emotions into himself. This feeding on their emotions all at once is his greatest pleasure and needed to sustain his demonic nature. Okay, we're learning more about the magic jar. I'm liking this. He takes their heart and puts it in. Okay, now their deep love and promise him their hearts. Now, okay, so I haven't finished reading this, but I have a question that about this. Is there a magic catchphrase? Is there a code word or something that has to be said by the target to know that he can do it? Or is it, you're close enough, crunch? I'm just curious to know, I guess, the little bit more of the magic of this, because I believe this is magic, the demonic nature of this. And, maybe, I really like the parallel, how nicely it works here. Where does he get the magic jars? I don't know. Maybe maybe a tool tip about the magic jar, because you really got some good flow going here, and I'm afraid that adding stuff to satisfy my curiosity could ruin the article. But a nice tool tip, and maybe knowing more about the promise and promise him their hearts, because I think isn't that different? I mean, saying, "Hey, I love you," versus "I promise you my heart," or "I give you my heart." Does he need to trick them into saying that phrase for the ability to rip the heart out of their chest? I don't know. Okay. Keeping his victim alive after taking their hearts instead of killing them makes Nightshine different from other Cubus. With their hearts in his jar, his victims are now his desires, as he calls them, and all are compelled to do whatever he commanded. He commands. Okay. This title that you have here matches excellent with the content that you provided here. When I see a header like this, I think I see it as a promise. And these two columns here have done a good job delivering the promise of talking about the handsome, and sometimes beautiful corrupter. Okay, emphasis on the corruption. Okay. Another kind of demon. Okay, going back, the promise. I don't know if that. How rare are cubus? Succubus. How rare is it? Like, is it 1 in 1,000 people? Humanoids? 1 in 10,000, 1 in 1,000,000? And in the demon population of all demons out there, are they the most common, least common, somewhere in the middle? Pretty rare. Okay. Because you're talking about another kind of demon, I'm curious to know where this implies that there are other demons if he is another kind of demon. So it would be, you don't have to talk about the other demons, but maybe something like Cubus are rare finds within the human population, and even more rare amongst other. I don't know. That again, adding information for my curiosity. I don't know. There are other demons. Okay. The pleasure of doing business. Again, okay. Ooh, I just recognized what those are. Blue lemonade. The jar heals his desires of most anything they may suffer, except old age. If any part of them survives whatever horrific event happened, the jar will regrow and repair whatever damage was done within the span of a day. Okay, the jar. Okay. I think we need a little bit more adjectives here. the magic jar holding his... Oh, wait, the jar heals his desires. Okay, see, maybe we need to have a capital D here, because lower, when I, desires the emotion versus desires the object or the person, the husk, if you will. Maybe we need to have the desires capitalized so that we know that we're referring to desires, the heartless humanoids, as opposed to the emotions, and just say the magic jar heals Nightshine, because when we are in the or an accent on the E or something to make it exotic. Hey, FDMOK, that's actually a good idea. But it would mess up the pronunciations. But, hey, if 80s rock bands can throw umlauts on... No, 90s rock bands, grunge rock bands. If 90s grunge rock bands can throw umlauts onto their random vowels to make them look hip and cool in the grunge world, we can do it here too. But yeah, the magic heart heals his... Okay, pronouns. Let's get into pronouns. Not the way you're thinking I'm going to talk about pronouns, but the earlier you are in a paragraph, or the earlier you are in a section such as this, the less you should use pronouns. His desires. I know we all know who we're talking about, but it does add a little bit of confusion in it. Because if you said the magic jar heals Nightshine's desires of most anything they may suffer except old age. Okay, so I think that would help clarify, because, what jar? Oh, that jar. His? Who's his? Oh, Nightshine's. Desires? Desiree's? Desiree's? No, I know someone named Desiree. I don't know about... Anyway. If any part of them... Okay, who's the them? Again, see, we're having too many pronouns too early in this section. We can get lost because we're talking about multiple different characters here. If any of part of his desires survive whatever horrific event happened, the magic jar will regrow and repair whatever damage was done within the span of the day. Span of a day. Okay. Okay. I was thinking maybe, one idea per sentence, one concept per paragraph. I don't know if you want to add emphasis, because right now the fact that you have this clause, the clause about it takes a day to have this be, excuse me, the fact that you have this fact that it takes the span of a day to fix them as a clause makes it less important of information, because it's bunched together with everything else in this sentence. If you took that clause, separated it out into its own sentence, that elevates the importance of the information contained within that sentence. Hey, this is so important, it deserves its own sentence. Hey, this topic is so important, It does it. Excuse me. It it deserves its own paragraph. Okay, so when we even subtle changes like that, converting a dependent clause into an independent sentence can elevate the importance of the information you are providing within the context. Excuse me. When the body is fully healed, the Desiree will awaken within it. The desire will awaken within it, its soul having been held slumberous within its heart. It does not protect them from the agonies of injuries, though, and their suffering can be terrible indeed. Within it, meaning the body. Okay, when the body is fully healed, the desire will awaken within it, its soul having been held slumberous with its heart. It does not protect it from the agonies of injury, though the sufferings can be terrible indeed. With the jar keeping his desires alive, Nightshine has made a business of selling them to other Cubas and rarely to other mortals who must pay a very hefty price. Okay, order of information. Taking a clue from the motivation reaction unit, reactions need to happen in a specific order to make it more believable. The order in which a paragraph presents the information can help us understand it more clearly. This clause here, its soul having been held slumberous within its heart. Okay, I think that's pretty important information to know, and I think it needs to be expanded upon a little bit. What do I mean? We've been talking about what. Okay, this paragraph is talking about how it heals. This talks about what happens to the soul of the person. See, that's interesting. So the desires, heart, and emotions are in the jar, but the soul remained in the body. So when the body is damaged to a statistically significant degree, you can decide what that is, then the soul transfers over to the heart and stays there for safekeeping until the body has healed statistically significant enough for the soul to then go back to the body. Do I have that correct? Because if got a little bit of a lag here, so yes, okay. So we need to know more about this process, the transaction and location of the soul, because this is a new concept that we haven't had discussed before. I think right in the middle here, between the first and second paragraph, I think we need to have a paragraph discussing the magic jar a little bit more. Okay. Or the I don't want to compare it to a Horcrux from the Harry Potter world, but it kind of feels a little bit like that. The jar, the magic jar contains the heart within the magic jar contains all of the emotions of the desire. Period. However, or the soul of the desire remains within their body. Period. If the body becomes significantly damaged, the soul is removed and placed in the jar. At that time, the jar, heart, and soul will heal the body. Once the body's sufficiently healed, the soul returns to the body. This process usually takes the span of a day. Then it does not protect the desire from the agonies of the injuries, though, and their suffering can be terrible indeed. Okay, so having something like that explaining more mechanically the location of the jar, the heart, the soul, the body. There's 4 components here. Having that, a description of that, helps me understand more how it happens, and could lead to things like what happens if the jar is destroyed. Because when the jar will regrow and repair. For the way this sentence was breaking and wrapping around, I thought the jar grows back, the glass jar can grow back. So I was a little bit confused there. But I believe that by providing that kind of detailed description, you'd be able to avoid any confusion. Or, because sometimes, myself included, I need to be handheld through the process of understanding how something works. You know how everything works in your world because this is your world. I don't. I need some extra handholding to make sure that I understand how things are working. With the jar keeping his desires alive, Nightshine has made a business of selling them to other Cubus and rarely to other mortals who must pay a hefty price. All right, who may pay a hefty price? Is that the Cubus, the mortals, both? Because here, to me, it sounds like only the mortals have to pay a heavy price. Do the Cubus get the friends and family discount? I don't know. Does he hand over the jar? Okay, or does he keep the jar and just says, "Hey, go obey them, but I'll keep the jar"? Or does he hand over the jar and stuff like that? So a little bit more information. By commanding one of the desires to obey the new love, the desires are compelled to obey their buyer. Okay, this is good to know that there's a command there, in addition to or instead of possessing the heart jar. Can somebody, if you steal the heart jar, can you also steal the person? Is possession 9/10 of the law? Or does it require, is the command more important? Is the jar more important? Can you steal the jar? Like Aladdin and the genie, whoever holds the lamp controls the genie. Okay, only Nightshine has the jar. Only he controls it. Okay, good information to know. So Eve, I hate to say this, but it feels then that the desires are long-term rentals as opposed to purchases. But that's just me. All right. Over the years, his business has grown, so he has built a traveling circus, Nightshine's Circus of Indulgences, to keep up with the demand. Interesting. Well, that's... Oh, good. You have a whole article. Okay. I'm going to need a lot more content warning if we go back in this world of Nightshine. Especially the Nightshine Circus of Indulgences. The one that got away. Very recently, Nightshine had one of his desires, named Shirey, pack up and leave him. Even though he had her heart in his jar, she was able to defy his commands. He was so shocked at her disobedience that all he could do was watch her leave. Nightshine has since examined her heart and his jar. The jar is working as it should, and her heart is just like all the others. He has no time to study her and find out why she is so different. There was a demonic cult in need of more and more desires as long as he provided them. He was well away, far from the abyssal demon in control of it. Sending another of his desires to study her would be unwise. What if her uniqueness spread to them? For now, Nightshine considers it best to let her go as though he had commanded her to do so. It was, of course, a lie, but he was a demon. Lies were just the thing. Ooh. I like that. Even more, I like that he lies to himself. He justifies it to himself. He has a rationale. Hey, I'm too busy. Okay, so one got away. I got to go make some more. I like it because it's the dent in the knight's shining armor. It's the flaw that gives him 3 dimensions. It makes him more fallible, more real, more interesting. If he was a character in a book, if he was, I'm thinking, remember the TV show Lucifer, where Lucifer Morningstar, the literal devil, is the main character, and they try to, and he goes through a redemption arc over how many ever seasons that was. Yeah, this makes it more real. I like that. I really, yeah. I like that. That's really, wow. Okay. All right. So let's get in summary. Okay. Awesome. Let me turn on my. I gotta click to turn on the pan. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, he's a 3D character. He has a flaw that he ignores. And if he was to become a character in a book or a novel, he could ignore it to his own peril. Or, I think even cooler, is if Shirey becomes the character. And and Nightshine is the big bad evil guy in the book, or the second tier antagonist. Shirey goes on an adventure, she makes friends, she becomes part of an adventuring party or something, and she always has this problem in the back with Nightshine threatening to take over her. For those of you who are familiar with the 3rd season of Critical Role, the character of Delilah, she is a hollow one. No, not Delilah. Laudna. Laudna is the character, and she has this big bad evil guy in her background. Not the main protagonist, but just something that's there. And that's okay, and he's that thing. So that is awesome. The layout, again, really nice, really good color. Excellent. I think this is excellent use of the 3 columns, the 2 columns, the 1 columns. I was not bored at all. Okay. I found it very intriguing. Really good. You had really good grammar. The things that I was doing there are the utmost of, picking at nitpicking. I didn't feel. I feel it was just going around. It was flowing really good. There were some questions here, about the order of details that was being presented in the paragraph. Again, 1 idea per sentence, 1 concept per paragraph. That's really important. Delete? Nope. I think all of the information here was very critical to the story or to the article. And I do like that you had Shiri at the beginning and you had Shiri at the end. So you had this nice parallelism between the beginning in the fiction and then that section down at the end. It was a nice parallel, and all of the Nightshine stuff was in the middle. Okay, really nice parallelism, bringing it back, and a nice benefit for those who stuck with it and went all the way to the end. Expand. See, this is hard. Expanding. What kind of expansion? I had curiosity. Okay, what's the article about? Is the article more about the Cubus or Nightshine? What is the most important thing about this? Is it about Cubuses and how they function and the heart things in the hearts and the jars and stuff like that? Or is Nightshine more important? If you pick a specific goal for this article, only expand the content based on what is most important. If you want people to know Cubuses more and Nightshine is just an example, that will help you understand that. Go. It is Nightshine. Okay. So all of the suggestions and all the questions of curiosities I had of things I would like to learn about, you should ignore those if they don't help us understand the Nightshine character better. If it doesn't help us know Nightshine better, don't include it in an article or put it in a tooltip or throw it into, create a separate article if it is significant enough to your world. Yes, but really well done. Really well done article. I like it, and it, yeah. I like that it was that last part that I think that really cinches the deal is that last paragraph about the one that got away. That really made Nightshine so much more of a character. Three-dimensional character. I really liked that last paragraph. And so because of the parallelism that we have between the Shiri at the beginning and the Shiri at the beginning, Shiri at the end, that makes that introduction fiction so much more critical. So that justifies, it more than justifies having that content there. Okay, I didn't get it, I didn't understand it until the end, but yeah. So, really, really good there. So thank you so much for allowing me to read your article, Dazzlinkat. Thank you so much for sharing Nightshine with us. If any of you would like to read the article as well, you can put follow the link in the video description below. And if you would like to have your content put through the ringer like this, please visit wgc.bz/submit, where you can submit up to 1,500 words of fiction or a world-building article for critique on a future Feedback Frenzy. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day and keep on writing.
Thanks for watching this Feedback Frenzy. Be sure to show your support by liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and clicking the notification bell. WriterGreg offers coaching sessions to help bring your world to life, create compelling stories, and accomplish your creative goals. Please visit wgc.bz/coaching for more details.